pork Kievs. We're gonna get started straight away. I want you to be on apple duty for me.
Okay.
And this is one of the heroes of this dish. No pressure.
No pressure at all.
No pressure. So if you core the apples, get a nice amount of butter on each of them, honey and cinnamon.
So be generous with the butter.
Generous with the butter. A little pinch of salt as well, please.
Okay.
I'm gonna be making like a garlic and herb butter now, which I'm gonna stuff inside the cutlets. So I don't know where this idea came from, to be honest with you, of creating this dish. But I just thought one day, do you know what? I love a Kiev. And I love pork. And I don't think I've ever had a pork Kiev.
Makes total sense then.
But it really does. And I feel like it's a nice way of elevating something that is quite a classic, common dish to new levels.
Mate, you're always taking things to new levels, I have to say. Nothing is ever at a base level with Mike Reed.
You know, I've been cooking for half my life, Jack. So it gets to a stage where you've got to be creative to try new things and to keep yourself excited.
That's true, very true.
So I'm just chopping up this parsley and then chopping chives. So do you know what I'm really looking forward to with this dish, Jack?
Tell me.
Is the combination of the salty, sweet, buttery goodness.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a really nice sort of homely dish, but also one I could elevate.
I feel like I'm often eating out in a great restaurant when I get to come and cook with you. So really,
Aww.
no, seriously though, I learned so much from standing next to you and Tim that I get to take home these ideas and then I kind of adapt them and jackify them a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm exactly the same with you and Joe. You've got such great knowledge. So learning about a lot of ingredients I use, which is good for me, is amazing.
Yeah, cool.
I'm almost finished chopping up this garlic. And I want this butter to be quite punchy. So I'm gonna leave the garlic quite big and we're just gonna mix that through now. I always find whenever you're making a compound butter, you wanna use a great quality butter. You know, this is organic, Aussie, great flavor. And when you're doing it, make sure it's nicely softened, great at room temperature, because you wanna just be able to bring all those herbs straight into the butter, just like that.
You really do taste the difference between a high quality butter, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's certain places where you can get away with using something not as good. This is not one of them. This is really such a key element of the dish.
Yeah.
But I love how herbaceous this looks. It's not just filled with garlic. It's filled with those beautiful herbs as well. So we're just gonna season that up with the salt and pepper. And that's it, it's done. So I'm gonna roll that now and set it. So I always say, like, you roll it into like a roulade, which is basically just like another word for like a sausage sort of shape.
And is that quantity for this whole meal, or would there be some left over to enjoy with another one?
Oh, I'll see how much I can get into the pork. Basically, it should be all gone within this.
Got it.
If there's a little bit left over, I will use it as the finishing butter for the Kiev at the end. But to roll this in the Glad wrap, basically just roll it over, form like a little roulade or sausage. And then we're just gonna squeeze it in at the sides and then roll it so it's nice and tight. All right, really is that simple. Now you're left with that beautiful sort of sausage shape. So I'm gonna stick this in the fridge to chill. Jack, that looks great. If you can get that in the oven, 180 degrees for about 25, 30 minutes, and then we can clean down and get ready for the Kievs. All right, Jack, we've got these gorgeous cutlets, this beautiful skin. I'm just gonna take it off because we won't have a chance to crackle that, not as a Kiev. But I'm trying to leave some of that fat on though, because that fat underneath the skin is beautiful flavour.
Yeah, it's what crispens up on the outer edge too, right?
Absolutely. Once we remove that little bit of fat, keep it. Don't throw it away. If you've got a dog, treat your dog. If not, I'm gonna save it and render it and crackle it. Get a little pork skin, little crackle.
I figured as much.
Would you judge me if I told you it was one of my kids' favourite snacks?
No, not at all.
All right, I'm just gonna make an incision now into the meat. And you basically just wanna poke a hole, which you're gonna insert your butter into. The bigger your hole, the bigger the butter.
Ah, okay.
So I'm just gonna do all of these and then we're gonna start stuffing it with the butter. we've got all of our porks ready now. We've got our butter slice.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stuff these. Jack, if you want to get the crumb ready,
Yeah.
we're just going to crumb it in the flour, the egg, breadcrumb, classic crumb. We're going to start to seal them off. The Kievs have hit the pan, and I started off with a little bit of oil, and now I'm going in with some butter. Because if you do the butter just by itself, Jack, you know it's going to burn by the time you turn it over. That oil helps keep it at a lower temperature, so you get a really nice caramelization on there. I'm now going to get the sauce going as well.
Yeah.
So can you do some small dice, please,
Small dice?
of the shallots? I'm going to season these up again as well. And don't be afraid of seasoning your food, especially when you crumb it. You would be surprised just how much salt your food takes once you add those layers of flour and breadcrumbs and egg in there. You should always season the layers and then season it again when it gets into the pan. You can see there's a beautiful color on these. So we're gonna get the shallots in the pan, saute those off with some thyme and some garlic, and then we're gonna get the cider dew in to reduce down until it's almost nice and sticky. Hit it with some stock, bring that right back down again, and we'll have a beautiful cider dew. You ready to tuck in?
I am ready. Look, I'll own it. I don't eat much pork or cook much pork. So I'm actually really excited to see how this has turned out, because it could be a new dish that I can incorporate in a different way at home, but always learning.
I'm very confident you're gonna love this, Jack.
Okay.
Can you just slice me up 4 pieces of the leftover butter?
Yes.
Like, it's just, for me, it's a nice way, it's a more interesting way to get some more pork in your diet. And pork's such a beautiful meat. Who doesn't love a Kiev, you know? So we've got a gorgeous little cider dew here on the side. And now we've got this beautiful butter. Just sit that on top, because there's not enough inside. A little bit more on top.
Never enough.
Pinch of salt. There you go. Our beautiful pork Kiev with a garlic and herb butter, baked apple, cider dew. Let's taste, Jack.
Look, I'm salivating, so it's time. A little bit of that. A little bit of that buttery goodness.
That's the sound of a good baked apple.
Yeah. It's like just an explosion of flavours going on here. And some of this epicness as well. Wow. Look, there's probably not very many words that have come out of my mouth because I want all the food to be in there. That is so beautiful. There's this amazing contrast and layering of flavours, that crunch and creaminess that's in the pork. And then you go into that herby garlic butter in the middle.
Yeah.
Then you get the explosion of sweet from the apple, and then the cider vinegar that's gone into that to finish is just incredible.
I'm glad you like it, because for me, this is the sort of food that I want to eat. Comforting, warm, it's like a hug on a plate.